actually forgot my speech. So thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna start with my name. Let's start with my name. My name is Raj Singh, and I'm a second year undergrad. I'm sure you're wondering, how this project started. And to be honest, I'm actually not from Chicago. I was the student who, as you see on the film, when I first came here, familiarity to me was seeing Target, Walmart, these big brand names. It wasn't until I met Mama Rose in her shop, and I saw her shop, that I realized there are miles more that a small business can do for this community than any corporation. The way it happened was, walk into her shop, and I'm looking around, and she points at the door. She points at the door. And I'm confused. I'm like, why is she pointing at the door? And I look at her, and she's like, put on the hand sanitizer. Oh, there's a big bottle of hand sanitizer next to the door. I go over, put it on, lather it on. A week later, I'm back in the shop, and this time I put on the hand sanitizer. And I'm looking, and she's busy, she's in the back somewhere, and a new customer walks in. And how do I know that it's a new customer? Because they didn't put on the hand sanitizer. And so I ask, I'm thinking for a split second, is it my place? I ask, oh, please kindly put on the hand sanitizer. Mama Rose looks at me, I get the nod of approval, it feels good, and I'm back in the shop a week later. And then with that, we create a sort of bond. I see that people come to her shop, Kilimanjaro International, just to talk to her. Not to buy anything, just to say hi, to invite her to a wedding, to share food and invite her to dinner. That is what a small business does for a community. It's the way she connected me to Sahan, Mr. Brady, the way that she gave me the courage to approach Sherry's shop and go knocking on her door. That is the way that a small business isn't a place on a map. It's the very dynamic mosaic of nods and smiles and interactions that you have with one another. It's a living thing. And with that, my final thought is to the students in the crowd. I know there are some of you who are far more engaged with the community than I've been, and you inspire me. However, I'd like to talk to those not from Chicago, those who haven't visited a business just because. We are at an institution that intellectualizes everything. We're always looking at nuance and complexity and theory in the classroom. We're living in that theory. We're living in that complexity. And where is that? That comes from us being a part of an institution that coexists with the small business community in Hyde Park. That is nuance, that is complexity. And if there's one thing that we as students can do, is take the time to learn about that, not from the academic perspective, but from the people who experience it, who live it in their daily life, and seek out what they have to say. So if there's one thing that I really want us to think about is how can we cultivate a culture where a first year comes to the University of Chicago and thinks it's the norm to spend their weekends on 53rd Street, not just downtown. How do we create a culture where a first year thinks about, let me think about consulting for Mr. Brady. Let me ask him about sociolinguistics research. Let me think about working with Sahan with advertising. That is the type of culture we want to create for a first year. So the one thing we can do is learn from the people who call Hyde Park home for so many years, so that we can learn to call Hyde Park home ourselves. This came out. So with that, we're at the end of our event. I'd like to thank everyone in the audience who stuck it to the very end. I'd like to thank my team of 9 extremely passionate, dedicated peers without whom today would not have been possible. So please thank the people who are overly dressed for this occasion. And finally, one last round of applause for our future small business owners, those who are here on stage and those who are off stage. in the rest of Hyde Park. Thank you all so much. Time for dinner. See you guys in the back.